Yes, I currently work as an anchor for the BBC, but I spent 10 years in 7644 Squadron, which is the media operations unit for the Royal Air Force, and I became a squadron leader in that squadron. Now, my job there was as a leader of the combat camera team and also media training for officers and airmen and women right across the Royal Air Force. So I was extremely busy. I got called up on a lot of deployments overseas, both exercises and operations. And I had a dual role there, not just with the hats of the Royal Air Force, but also as a journalist for ITV and also the BBC at the same time. And really, I saw firsthand how the skills are so transferable from the military into civilian life. So working under pressure, as Andrew was pointing out, you can really have gained such a huge experience within the Royal Air Force and within the military in your individual units, having to make the right decisions very quickly in a highly pressurized situation. And certainly working in a television newsroom, I have to do the same. The plan changes, the scripts are thrown out at the last minute, you're doing lives right across the world and you don't know what's going to be happening from one moment to the next. So certainly the skills are extremely transferable. And so if you can help friends and colleagues build their personal profiles, that certainly is a head start. The other thing to perhaps discuss in the workshops a little bit later this afternoon is this idea that actually reserve forces are promoting regulars now within organisations, because we heard there a little bit earlier about how employers are much more likely to recruit ex-regulars if they've got a really strong reservist policy. And that's really interesting for me, because when I joined the Royal Air Force, you did certainly feel sometimes that you were a bit of a second-class citizen as a reservist. You would fill a job, you would be expected to do a job as well as the regulars, but you were a reserve. Whereas now it certainly seems as though the reservists are perhaps paving the way for regulars in the world of work. And so can we capitalise on that? And that's perhaps a talking point that we could bring up in the working groups this afternoon. So it will be over to you to come up with lots of ideas and actions later, but also after lunch we're going to be hearing from the US perspective. John Edelman has come over from America to tell us about what's working in the United States and what lessons perhaps we can learn here in the UK from that, and also though what challenges there are in the United States as well. But for now we're going to take a break. I think it's a much well-deserved lunch break. We've got a lot to think about.